This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Pieces of me, they run around in your head, they live rent-free. There's nothing you can do about it, and I feel no pain, and I feel no shame. It's kinda cute, goddamn, you're so in love with me. I've been caught up in nothing, I'm ready to go. Been a while since you smiled, I'm taking it slow. And all those words you said, they're just inside my head. 25, I'm alive and I'm ready to go.
Following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Thursday, May the 14th of 2026, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined.
Oh, yes.
Radio big.
We are definitely a combination of things as we are hanging out doing our stuff. No doubt about that. So if you're good, I'm good. So that's important for us to, do our thing. So our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's just kind of how it goes in regards to what we do. So if you're good with that information, I'm sure as shit good with it. So let's do this, if you do not mind, of course. Let's go ahead and start talking. Let's go ahead and start moving. Let's go ahead and start grooving, because that's kind of what we do. And as we're doing all of this stuff, here's what's going to happen. We're going to go down this thing that we call the multiverse. We're going to talk a little bit about everything that's going on inside of the world of the news. We're going to bring in some professional broadcasters. They're going to talk a little bit about what the hell they think is going on and what should be remedied. Yeah, because I need a remedy. Remedy. We'll leave that for another day. So there you go. So we'll do that. And then if you want to interact with the show, it's simple to do so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com, or you can just go to safetyfm.com and get into the hub. Once you get into the hub, that will get you everywhere. No, seriously. That hub over there, once you get there, boom, Call-In Radio is listed. It's ready to go. It's ready to move for you. So that's it. You just have to click away and we start grooving. I don't make this stuff up. I just tell you how it goes. So that is it. That is the whole kit and caboodle of everything that we have going. And that is it. So with that being said, why do we not do this? Why do we not go ahead and start moving and grooving and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do? Because I think it's going to be important to do that. We just go from there and move on to life. So, what do you think? I do have my friends from Feature Story News waiting. They just are ready to go. They want to talk a little bit about what the hell is going on. Because, news stories are important. I think that they're important. So, let's go ahead and do that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Leaders of the US and China have begun their summit in Beijing with warm words ahead of their high-stakes talks. Donald Trump promised a fantastic future together, while Xi Jinping urged the two countries to be partners, not rivals. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
A warm, friendly, respectful start to the meeting from both leaders. Donald Trump brushing away past problems and telling President Xi Jinping it was an honour to be his friend. The US leader said this would be the biggest summit ever, as the Chinese president looked ahead to a new era of US-China relations. But there are many thorny issues, amongst them trade. A tariff truce remains in place and will likely be extended at this summit. China wants the US to ease export controls on high-powered AI chips, while in return the US wants China to release more of its rare earth materials. And the US may also ask China for its help in influencing Iran to end the conflict and do a deal.
Iran's deputy foreign minister says he has told top Indian officials that Tehran would welcome any diplomatic initiative by New Delhi in the Middle East conflict. This comes as foreign ministers of BRICS nations, which include India, Russia, China, as well as Iran and the UAE, are meeting in New Delhi. Ishan Garg tells us more.
Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Kazem Garibabadi says if India intends to play the role of a mediator in the Iran-US conflict, Tehran would welcome and work on it. Garibabadi said he raised this with top Indian officials that Tehran values India's position and that New Delhi's impartial stance on the conflict is appreciated by Iranian officials. This comes as Iran has been pushing New Delhi to get the BRICS bloc joint statement to condemn US-Israeli strikes, but another BRICS member, UAE, is instead pushing for joint calls to blame Iran as the aggressor, highlighting how the grouping that accounts for half the world's population and over 40% of the global GDP is facing internal frictions.
South Carolina's top court has overturned Alex Murdaugh's double murder conviction. The disgraced lawyer was convicted in 2023 of murdering his wife Maggie and their 22-year-old son Paul. Tony Waterman has more.
In a unanimous opinion, the South Carolina Supreme Court justices say Murdaugh was denied his right to a fair trial because a county court clerk had influenced jurors. They accuse Rebecca Hills of placing her fingers on the scales of justice after jurors testified that she suggested they not trust Murdaugh's testimony. State prosecutors had tried to argue that there was no evidence the comments changed the outcome of the trial. The top court has ordered a retrial, and Murdaugh will remain in jail until that happens after pleading guilty to embezzling millions of dollars from his law firm. He maintains his innocence in the deaths of his wife and son.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, what's at stake during President Trump's visit to China? It is evident from the numerous US business leaders that boarded Air Force One to make the journey to Beijing that trade will top the agenda, with issues like the war on Iran, human rights and Taiwan very much taking a back seat. President Trump wants to try and resolve trade disputes with the Chinese and even secure fresh Chinese investment in the US economy. Edward Luce is the Financial Times chief US commentator. He says China holds significant leverage over the United States.
China has a bigger bazooka, as it showed with its stranglehold on the rare earth exports, and then Trump agreeing to a truce in their trade war. He wants to renew that truce because China doesn't just have a stranglehold on rare earths, it also has one on pharmaceutical inputs. It could really harm the world's pharmaceutical supply. Trump's ability to impose tariffs isn't quite as big a bazooka. So I think China feels very much, perhaps too much, that it's on the winning side of history here.
The Trump administration is also hoping for pomp and ceremony that will be screened back in the US and convey to Americans that this is the most important moment in the US-China relationship since President Richard Nixon travelled to Peking in 1972 and met Chairman Mao. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
Here's the main news again. The leaders of the US and China have begun their summit in Beijing with warm words ahead of their high-stakes talks. Iran's deputy foreign minister says he has told top Indian officials that Tehran would welcome any diplomatic initiative by New Delhi in the Middle East conflict. South Carolina's top court has overturned Alex Murdaugh's double murder conviction. And that is the latest feature story news. Rebecca Bunzin reporting.
Commercial break time because somebody's cousin just opened up a car dealership. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Netflix. Raising prices so often, your bank thinks you're being mugged on a monthly basis.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial. I love it when I press buttons and they don't seem to work properly. It's just amazing to me on how that works from time to time. Anyways, welcome to live radio, because that's just how it works. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's just kind of what we do around here. So it is currently 15 minutes past the top of the hour. A lot of stuff going on as we are talking. So take a listen to this one, because this one kind of got interesting right away. CBS Evening News was abruptly taken off the air during a live broadcast from Taiwan after camera operators suffer a medical emergency. The anchor stopped mid-segment saying, "We're going to have to take a quick break and we have a medical emergency here." According to the anchor, CBS coverage of President Trump's trip to China, reporting that from Taipei, it was being denied the Chinese visa. CBS correspondents We Got Jang and Ann Corin are covering from Beijing. Take a listen.
We'll hear a lot about American decline and the rise of a powerful new China. The Chinese certainly, is he okay? We're going to take a quick break. We have a medical emergency here. We're calling a doctor.
Call a doctor, please.
So I'm going to sign off for Tony DeCopo, who's been reporting in Taiwan.
So, yeah, that made it extremely interesting. I mean, that's always the problem with me when it comes to listening to stuff going on in real time, is I'm more concerned about what the hell's going on in the background than going on inside of the whole thing. So there you go. That's kind of how it goes from there. So a lot of stuff going on as we are talking. So there you go. Okay. So what do you want to do here? Let's continue talking about some other stuff that is going on inside of the multiverse of ours. Okay. So I don't know where to start here because there's so many things to talk about. Let me do this one because I think that this one was interesting. 19-year-old Texas fisherman Hunter Winch survived a direct lightning strike that hit him in the stomach, blasted through his legs, and shot out his foot. And even exploded the trees that he was leaning on. He woke up unable to feel his legs, covered in burns, thorns, and wood shrapnel. And still cracking jokes with first responders. Doctors restored the feeling by the morning, cleared him from major injuries, and he lost all the hair on his right leg. The next day, just 10 hours after being released, he went right back to fishing. His mom calls it a miracle. He calls himself the unluckiest lucky man alive. This man got hit by lightning and still went fishing the next day. I mean, I guess that's one of those things that when you're committed to something, you're just committed. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. So there you go. There you go. What else do we got? I guess we should probably do some more serious stuff. We're going to talk about this because I know they talked about it on Feature Story News, but I was just amazed by it because there was a whole show on Netflix about this. But Alex Murdaugh is getting a new murder trial after South Carolina Supreme Court overturned his 2023 conviction in the killing of his wife and son. In a unanimous decision, the court ruled that Murdaugh's original trial was tainted by improper behavior from the Collection County Clerk of Court, Rebecca Hill, who prosecutors said had too much influence over the jurors during the National Watch case. Murdaugh had been serving 2 consecutive life sentences after being convicted of murdering his wife, Maggie, and son, Paul, at the family's South Carolina property in 2021. Prosecutors argued that Murdaugh killed them as his financial crimes and personal scandals were beginning to collapse around him. But the state Supreme Court said that Hill's conduct crossed the line. Justices wrote that her outside influence on jurors created an unfair environment, leaving them no choice but to reverse the conviction and order a new trial. Hill later wrote that the book, a book about the case Behind the Doors of Justice, the Murdaugh murders, which defense attorneys argue created a major ethical concern. During the original trial, Murdaugh admitted that he lied to investigators about being near the dog kennels where the shooting happened, but he repeatedly denied killing his family. His defense team also argued investigators focused too heavily on him from the beginning and failed to properly pursue the leads. So there you go. What do you think? I mean, it's definitely an interesting one. I mean, don't get me wrong. So there you go. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other stuff. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani is heading back on the air just days after being hospitalized in Florida with severe pneumonia and receiving last rites. His spokesperson, Ted Goodman, said Giuliani appreciates the outpouring of love, support, and prayers and is eager to get behind the microphone. Hey now. Giuliani resumed broadcasting last night on Lindell TV, followed by an 8 p.m. live stream covering President Trump's trip to China. Giuliani was admitted to the hospital on May the 3rd after pneumonia worsened due to long-standing 9/11 related restricted airways disease. His conditions became so serious that he required medical ventilation, and a priest was brought in to administer his last rites. He was moved out of the ICU last Wednesday, with his doctor calling his recovery a miracle. So there you go. Some stuff. I guess that's some good news there in regards to what we're talking about, because, man, that is, the U.S. mayor. Let's just be realistic. Let's talk about him in general, just for a moment here. During the timeline of 9/11, when that was going down, he was a source of hope for a lot of people out there in regards to what was going on. Listen, I will tell you, politics is the weirdest thing to get involved in. I'm just going to say this straight, because one day they love you, one day they hate you, and you never know what the hell is going on the next time. What I always, and I guess let me just kind of just rant for a little moment here. It's always amazing to me when somebody says, okay, this is my belief system, and then they say this is a politician, and then they change on how they think about something going forward, and then all of a sudden it's like you're flip-flopping. So I thought there was supposed to be some level of growth that is supposed to take place. Isn't that what that would be considered, or no? Am I looking at it the wrong way? I mean, what the hell do I know, right?
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so are you ready for this one?
Are you ready?
Okay, 4 men who were wrongly accused in one of Austin's most infamous crimes, the 1991 yogurt shop murders, are set to receive $35 million from the city as a tentative settlement announced on Tuesday. The payout will go to 3 surviving men and a family of the 4th pending a city council approval. Austin City Manager T.C. Brodax called the agreement the final chapter of a devastating story, saying that the city hopes that the settlement brings some measure of closure after decades of injustice. The case, which the focus of a 2025 HBO documentary, involved the brutal murders of Jennifer Habison, 17, her sister Sarah, 15, and Eliza Thomas, 17, and Amy Ayers, 13. Authorities wrongfully accused 4 young men: Robert Springsteen IV, Michael Scott, no relation to The Office, just in case. Also, Forrest Welburn and Maurice Pierce, relying heavily on confession of Springsteen, and Scott later said they were coerced. Springsteen was even sentenced to death, and Scott also got convicted. Both convictions were overturned in the mid-2000s. Welburn was never indicted, and Pierce spent 3 years in jail before charges were dropped. Pierce later died in 2010 during a officer-involved shooting after a traffic stop. The real break came after years later. Investigators linked the murders to Robert Eugene Brashers, a violent offender who died by suicide in 1999 during a police standoff. DNA from the victim's fingernails and new ballistic evidence tied Brashers to the Austin murders, as well as multiple violent crimes across Missouri, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza previously apologized, saying that no apology could ever fully repair the damages done to the 4 men who were wrongfully accused and in some cases wrongfully imprisoned. The settlement now awaits final approval, but it marks a long overdue acknowledgement of one of the most painful and wrongful convictions in cases in Texas history. So what do you think here? Definitely makes it some interesting times as we are talking. No doubt about that. So there you go. Let's continue talking about some other things here. Florida attorney. Oh, hold on.
WTF. Welcome to Florida.
Florida Attorney General James Ottomer has issued a subpoena to the NFL, escalating the investigation into the league's diversity hiring practices, according to a reporting from Outkick. James is demanding extensive records dating back to 2020, including documents tied to the Rooney Rule, the offensive assistant mandate, Resolution JC2A, Accelerator Program, and the Mackey Development Program. Subpoenas seek internal policies, communication with government agencies, legal challenges, and demographic data on coaching hires across the league. The move comes weeks later after James sent a letter warning the NFL that the Rooney Rule, adopted in 2003 to ensure minority candidates had interviewed for head coaching jobs, may violate Florida's Civil Rights Act. The NFL did not comment on the subpoena. League Commissioner Roger Goodell has reportedly defended the NFL's diversity initiatives. At his first 2025 Super Bowl press conference, he called them the right thing for the league and said that they have improved the NFL by expanding the talent pipeline on and off the field. James Rose now puts those long-standing policies under direct legal scrutiny in one of the country's most politically charged states. So there you go. So let me ask you a question here, because it's definitely going to be an interesting one. Because of this, and because of this potential move here, does this mean there is a potential, and keep in mind that there's 3 of them here in good old Florida, where the Miami Dolphins, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers might not be allowed to do business in Florida? I'm just asking because, I might be jumping the gun a little bit, but if the NFL says, that whole nice little thing of and say we're just going to move on and not do anything because we don't give a anymore about what's going on in Florida, what happens then? I'm just asking the question because I'd like to know better. Because I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that there's a potential there, or is it just too big of a revenue loss? Because we're never going to say that money's more important than anything else, are we?
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's continue talking about some other stuff that is going on inside of this lovely multiverse of ours, because that's kind of what we do. I mean, it is a multiverse thing. So let's talk about it. So I got some news that I would like to share with you. Something that I have recently discovered. Something that has been given to me information-wise, and I need to share this with you. Researchers say people who constantly keep their phones within arm's reach tend to experience higher levels of stress and anxiety through the day. Even when no notifications arrive, many people still feel the urge to check their screens repeatedly. A habit experts say that keeps the brain on constant state of alertness. According to studies, every buzz, vibration, ding, and glowing screen can trigger a small stress response, and the brain immediately wonders whether the message is important, urgent, or negative. Over time, the nonstop interruption cycle can make it harder to focus, relax, and mentally recharge. Experts say that the problem isn't just the amount of time spent on phones, it's the anticipation. People often feel pressure to respond instantly to texts, emails, work messages, social media alerts, and news updates. Even during meals, conversations, or downtime, the brain never fully powers down because it's waiting for the next notification to arrive. Experts recommend setting aside phone-free periods during the day, silencing unnecessary notifications, and avoiding constant screen checking before bed. Even short breaks from the device can help reduce and improve your concentration. So it reduce stress, not reduce your concentration, because that'd be kind of stupid. Okay, so there you go. What do you think? Are you a constant phone checker? I'm just asking because some of us are and some of us aren't. I think I probably fall into the category that I'm constantly checking my phone. Because even sometimes during this show, when I get the little ringer, I'm like, look at here on what's going on. Okay. So I got a
soda pop
statement for you. You know that how people switch to diet soda because they think it's healthier choice, fewer calories, no sugar, guilt-free bubbles. Well, the whole thing, I'm being good today vibe. Well, according to research, this might be not be the case. A study from UC San Diego found that something pretty wild. People who drink diet soda every single day show signs of cellular aging, the kind that you normally only see in someone 8 years older. 8 years. Just drink you grab with lunch. Researchers look at the telomeres, those little proactive caps of the DNA that shorten as you age. And you find the daily diet soda drinkers had significantly shorter ones, older cells. You age your body faster than the calendar says it should. And here's the kicker. This wasn't just about weight, lifestyle, or sugar intake. The aging effect showed independently, meaning the diet soda itself may be playing a role. So what do you think? Interesting, right? Okay, so let's continue talking. You ever notice that every single day feels like a scavenger hunt and you didn't sign up for it? Because according to research, the average person loses 3 items a day. Duh. Yeah, that's a day, every day. And it's always the same suspects. It's keys, phones, remotes, the holy trinity. I just had it. It doesn't matter how organized you think you are. Life has a way of hiding stuff like playing a prank on you. But you put your keys down 1 second and suddenly there's a Bermuda Triangle. Your phone is gone, your remote is gone, and somehow wedged between the couch cushions like they're trying to escape for life. And here's the wild part. Most people spend 10 minutes a day looking for lost items. That's over 60 hours a year. Basically an entire long week dedicated to wandering around your house saying, where did I put it? So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, 32 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's go ahead and do that thing that we do that we call our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so some main story time as we are hanging out, doing our thing, and talking real quick because that's kind of what we do. So I have to mention this because I think it's always interesting to mention some things that we don't normally mention. But let's talk about it. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's go into a little bit of everything. I've noticed this really weird thing happening as of late. And I'll reference this real quick. But I am amazed on how dramatically different life has become over the last couple of years when it comes to expenses. And I want to reference this not to be like, haha, look at me, but I'm going to tell you this. Yesterday, a band that I really, really like had announced that they are having a concert here in Orlando. I was excited. I'm part of some little club thing that gives you access to their purchasing of tickets ahead of time. I want to say like 48 hours ahead of time. Cool stuff. And this little band had a meet and greet option for you to buy a meet and greet ticket, which, you know, I kind of find silly, but whatever. I've done it once before to meet the band. Great stuff. And the interesting part was the following. Last time, I bought 4 tickets for a meet and greet, and they were very inexpensive, okay? And when I say inexpensive, I'm talking that I wasn't breaking a bank for that. So yesterday, I go to look, and they have the meet and greet ticket. They have regular tickets in the whole 9 yards. Now, I will tell you that if you looked at the meet and greet ticket, for what I paid last time compared to this time, what it cost me for 4 tickets the last time was the price of 1 this time around. And it's not like the band has become more popular. They have just recently put out a new album. Okay, cool. So I knew automatically that was not for me. I look at the general admission tickets, And I look at the price and I go, okay, so you're telling me that if you want to meet and greet this band, compared to the general admission ticket, it is almost 10 times the amount of a general admission ticket to meet and greet them. And I started looking around and going, wow, that's just crazy. So the people that are more into the band pay significantly higher prices to be able to see them. Okay, I guess that's kind of an interesting thing. And then I started looking around for a moment. And I really started looking at some other stuff going, wow, don't understand why meet and greets are so expensive, but that's kind of weird. And the funny part was that earlier in the week, I was having a conversation with someone. And we were having a discussion on how the budgetary cuts that have been taking place at their workplace. And it was interesting because all of a sudden my brain was kind of going back and forth between this stupid concert thing and all of a sudden this conversation that I had with this person in regards to budgetary cuts that had taken place inside of their workplace. And I was like, it's interesting because some of the stuff that we used to get before inside of workplaces are double and triple in price. And the funny thing was, this item that this person was talking about, the info and the quality of the product had not improved. It wasn't different by specifications. Everything was exactly the same of what it was 3 years ago. But the price was, I want to say, 300% higher than what it was 3 years ago. 300% higher, and nothing had changed. So here's what I'm getting to. What in the hell's going on? And how are you able to run your safety programs currently? Now, keep in mind that we constantly talk about safety on this show, and it's purposely done in that particular factor. And the reason that I'm mentioning this and the reason that I'm bringing this up is because I'm getting so confused about a few things. I'm getting so confused about some of the stuff that is happening. And the reason that I mention all of this is that at the end of the day, what is happening outside over there in regards of what's going on with the world, in regards of what is happening? Here is the thing. We normally go around and talk about human and organizational performance. We talk about signal. We talk about behavior-based safety. There's a few different things that we talk about, but there's this other portion that we talk about that we call learning teams. And this is where we get a group of employees, non-supervisors, non-management together to have a conversation about what the hell's going on inside of the workplace. As this conversation's being developed, as this conversation's moving forward, we always ask inside of the organization, if you were going to build something out, will this be approved within the budget that you're normally given? And the organizational people that are inside of the learning team, can normally tell you, yes, they will accept it, this, they will not accept it, so on. Now, the odd part about this is as I've looked at these things, people within the organizations are now even more hesitant about having these discussions because they say prices have changed so significantly that they're not even sure what the organization would be willing to approve. So let's sit back for a moment and let me ask you that question. Over the last year, we'll just go 365 here. How much has changed within your organization on what they allow you and not allow you to move forward with in regards to your safety programs? And let me make sure that I'm very clear here. Not that I believe in a safety program per se, but if I tell you inside of the focus center of safety inside of your workplace, it's way too long. So what have they allowed you to do with the safety program? That's why I say it in that particular fashion. Inside of your organization. The money that they allowed you to spend before, are they still allowing you to spend that? Or are they saying we need to do budgetary cuts? And are you noticing that even if the budget that you had previously is not good enough for what prices cost now? I am asking the question because if this is not something that you're playing a factor in or taking a look at currently, it's definitely going to be something that you're going to need to take a look at in the very near future because prices just continue to rise.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let me talk to you real quick. What is HelloFresh? With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Spend your time this month shopping for gifts and sipping cocoa, not stuck at the checkout line. Sign up for HelloFresh and get everything you need to whip up a fresh, tasty meal delivered to your door. Just choose your recipes, select a delivery date, and relax knowing the dinner's on its way. HelloFresh has over 45 recipes and more than 100 seasonal add-on items to choose from every week, so it's easier than ever to find something everyone will enjoy. Go to HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM free. That's HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM free to use the code SafetyFM free for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM free with code SafetyFM free. And don't forget that this is why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/SafetyFM to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/SafetyFM. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/SafetyFM right now to get started. That's RULA.com/SafetyFM because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
He's the man. It's awesome, funny, random, doesn't make any sense, but it's good.
Jay Allen in the morning on radio.
If you have a claim and not sure where to turn, Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service Anything from inspecting the law site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
I've been warming up for what's ahead, and you've got ice in your shoes. You're fixing to lose your mind.
Oh, I think you're fixing to lose your mind. Okay, you are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. We're still trying to bring everything to you as we can, no doubt about that. A lot of stuff going on inside of this multiverse, no doubt. So let's talk real quick, because we are getting ready to go. So this right here is Seth Beamer. Song's called Ready to Go. Available on Apple Music, YouTube Music, Spotify, and Pandora. I would say go ahead and give it a little listen action. Go ahead and give it a little stream. And we'll go from there. So there you go. A lot of stuff inside of the world of the multiverse. A lot of things going on. Okay. Would like to thank Seth Beamer for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah. There you go. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on. Anyways, let's start talking right away about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now and that healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you'll see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. It will change everything for you, I am telling you. If you go there and you go, this information's not for me, there's other stuff on side of that website that's definitely worth taking a look at. I'm telling you. It's there. There's information. There's ways to find help. There's even ways to assist. And there's even a way to handle self-care. The one that I like the most is I kind of go around and there's so many different things. Like this weekend in particular, they are definitely doing the Move It Forward 5K. There's a lot of meetups throughout the country, depending on where you want to take a look at it. I'll give you an example here. The 14th through the 17th, Sonic Youth, they'll be there. So that's starting today in regards to some of the stuff there. Also, they'll be at the Vans Tour in Washington, D.C. So, I mean, just look around. There's so many things that this company's involved in. In October the 22nd through the 25th, they'll be there at the Disney and Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Okay, so let me get into this real quick before we get too far away here. Reality Shift, an observational symposium taking place July the 13th. Seriously, July the 13th. Happening. Where we're going to let you come on in, take a look around. We'll be hanging out in a movie theater here in Orlando. We'll be hanging out with Nick Weatherly talking about behavior-based safety. We'll be hanging out with Todd Conklin talking about human and organizational performance. And I will be there talking about Signal Trilogy. So would love to have you come out and hang out with us, safetyfm.io for more information. Or you can scan the QR code that's right there on the screener, and then we'll move forward from there. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of that one. Would love to see you there. Happening July the 13th, which is a Monday, where you can hang out in Orlando and do your thing. No doubt about that. So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's bring some John Small into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Carrie. George Washington said, "Happiness depends more upon the internal frame of a person's own mind than the externals in the world." I like that. I've never heard this quote before, but I absolutely love it. I try to float through life with a smile on my face. I do my very best to find happiness wherever I go. Does that mean I'm never unhappy? Of course not. Sadly, I still need more help there, but I'm trying to find joy everywhere. I'm also trying to spread joy and happiness. I don't want to be the guy who's always unhappy and spreading unhappiness wherever I go. I try to be the glass half full guy. I encourage you to do the same thing. Look inside yourself to find things to smile about. Find things that make you happy and focus on those things when you need a boost.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Duh. Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
This is the latest news headlines break. A massive drone barrage struck Ukraine as Kyiv and Moscow traded fresh attacks on infrastructure and cities. Wednesday evening, sweeping across many regions in a broad, sustained assault.
Ukrainian officials said the raids hit rail hubs, energy sites and port facilities, reporting civilian casualties and damage to supply lines. The strikes came amid ongoing frontline fighting and diplomatic moves aimed at a ceasefire, complicating efforts to protect civilians and vital transport routes. Chris Anderson reporting.
Global markets and economies reacted sharply as wholesale and consumer prices showed renewed rises tied to geopolitical tensions, with inflation data pointing to higher energy costs backing investor caution.
U.S. producer prices jumped notably year over year, with analysts linking the move to energy price pressure from the wider Middle East conflict and supply strains. Stocks opened mixed as investors weighed inflation signals against strong tech gains, while policymakers face renewed questions about tightening and growth risks. Gary Beck reporting.
U.S. federal officials said they will temporarily block new enrollments of home health and hospice providers in Medicare amid concerns about fraud in a move affecting care access for some patients.
The pause targets rapid provider signups that regulators say may hide scams and billing abuse. Advocates warned the freeze could leave some communities with fewer options, while regulators said patient protection and program integrity are the priority. Lawrence Keller reporting.
The S&P 500 hovered near record highs, while the Dow slipped and the Nasdaq showed modest gains, reflecting differing investor bets across sectors.
Analysts said inflation surprises and geopolitical news drove the swings as traders balanced risk appetite against potential policy responses. Short-term moves were volatile, with some investors shifting into tech and others seeking safe havens amid uncertainty. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Gunfire erupted inside the Philippine Senate as authorities moved to detain a senator wanted by the International Criminal Court Wednesday night, producing a tense standoff in the chamber.
Senators supportive of Ronald De La Rosa shielded him, while agents sought to take him into custody after an ICC arrest warrant was unsealed earlier this week. The cause of the shots inside the Senate is unclear, and officials have not confirmed injuries, while De La Rosa says he will fight the warrant through legal channels. Benjamin Wright reporting.
A temporary U.S. policy shift will closely watch Taiwan relations and high-level diplomacy as leaders prepare for a major bilateral visit, prompting global attention to strategic balance in Asia.
Officials signaled close monitoring of U.S.-Taiwan policy during the upcoming presidential visit to China, noting any moves could influence regional security and trade ties. Diplomats said careful messaging will be key to avoid missteps, while economic and security topics top the agenda between major powers. Kyle Norris reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
to my kind of music.
I get the best mix of my favorite music.
All on one radio station.
Another wild ride is around the corner on Radio Big.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start talking right away about some things that happened back on this date. Yeah, back on today in history. Let's go ahead and do that. U.S. performs a nuclear test in the Pacific Ocean back in 1955. In 1963, Kuwait is the 111th member of the United Nations. In 1982, no, let's not do that. In 1983, She Blinded Me with Science by Thomas Dolby hits number 5. 1989, first time since 1948, a player hit 6 consecutive doubles. That was Kirby Puckett, just in case. In 1990, the 46th time opposing pitcher hits a home run. Venezuela Dodgers versus the Growth Expos. Let's see, in 1998, the last episode of Seinfeld on NBC. Commercials are $2 million for 30 seconds. And in 2019, Grumpy the cat, feline celebrity with a grumpy expression, died. So there you go. That's things that happen back on these dates. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. George Lucas turns 82 today. Robert Zemeckis turns 75. David Byrne turns 74. Tim Roth, 65. Kate Blanchett turns 57. Sofia Coppola turns 55. Amber Tamblyn turns 43, Mark Zuckerberg turns 42, and Dustin Lynch turns 41. So there you go. That's some birthdays going on for you today. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. Netflix is jumping into Thanksgiving Eve football. The streamer announced that it will air the Packers versus the Rams on November the 25th, turning Drinksgiving Blackout Wednesday into NFL's newest standalone showcase. The game lands the night before the league's traditional Thanksgiving triple header and pairs nicely with the Black Friday games Amazon began carrying back in 2023. With millions of fans traveling and bar hopping or hiding from relatives, Netflix sees the prime audience grab. The platform is rapidly expanding its NFL footprint and will stream Week 1's Australia games, Rams versus the 49ers, multiple Christmas matchups, and now the presence in Week 18 when the playoffs spots are decided. So there you go. Also in some other news, what do we got here? President Trump arrived in Beijing yesterday for a 2-day meeting with the Chinese president, focused on trade. Trump joined by Secretary of State Mark Rubio, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and the U.S. business leaders Tim Cook, Elon Musk, and NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang. They were all welcomed upon arrival by China's vice president, so there you go. Also, Kevin Walsh, Donald Trump's preferred pick to lead the Federal Reserve, has officially been confirmed by the Senate. A narrow vote clears the way for him to become the 17th chair of the Federal Reserve. Walsh steps into the role in a turbulent moment. The Fed has been under intense pressure, politically pressured for Trump. The U.S. economy is being shaken by geopolitical tensions. Inflation is continuing to surge, adding to the stakes of his leadership. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together at the top of the hour. I'll be going over to RadioBig.fm for the next couple hours or so. If you would like to come over there, we'd love to see you over there. We can hang out and talk about the world of music and entertainment. If you don't want to go over there, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. If I can give you some words of wisdom for today, what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. And what you imagine, you create. So there you go. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
You've got ice in